Yeah, good morning students. This is your physics sir, Ramana. Now, I am going to teach a secondary physics syllabus. In this, I want to start a new lesson, a semiconductor. What is this? Semiconductors. Did you hear about the term semiconductors? Okay, let us take what is the origin of this semiconductor. Suppose if you take a matter. What is a matter? Matter is composed of atoms. Based on the arrangement of the atoms, the matter can available in three forms or in three states. Let it be solid state, next one is liquid state, and next one is gaseous state. The matter can available in three states: solids, liquids and gaseous state. What is the difference between these three? Only the arrangement of the atoms. The difference is only the arrangement of the atoms. Suppose if you take a solid, all atoms are arranged very closely packed, very tightly packed. There is no gap between the atom to atom. Where in the case of liquids, atoms are loosely packed. There is a gap between the atoms to atom. In the case of gases, there is no relation between the atom to atom. This type of arrangement we can see in these solids, liquids and gases. The difference only the arrangement of the atoms. Now, again the solid divided into two types. It's a crystal or crystals and non-crystals. Crystals and non-crystals. What is the difference between these two, crystals and non-crystals? Crystals means the atoms are arranged in a regular, three-dimensional and periodic arrangement. A regular, three-dimensional and periodic arrangement we can see in the case of crystals. In the case of non-crystals, all atoms are arranged in irregular manner. Again, the crystals, based on the electric nature, that can be divided into again the crystal divided into three types. First one is conductors, next one is insulators, and next is semiconductors, and next one is semiconductors. The crystal can divide it into three types based on electric nature. That can be divided into conductors, insulators and semiconductors. First, we discuss about the conductors. What is a conductor? We know conductor means the substances that can allow the flow of electrons to pass through it, or we can say it as the substances that can allow the current to pass through it are called conductors. The substances that can allow the current to pass through it are called conductors. So, to allow the current, the substances that can allow the current, are called conductors. The examples for the conductors are all metals. All metals are comes from the category of these conductors. Next, about insulators. What are insulators? The substances which do not allow the current are called insulators. The substances which do not allow the current are called insulators. Examples for the insulators are wood, paper, plastic, glass, etc. These are all examples for the insulators. And next, about the semiconductors. Semiconductors means the name itself. Semi means it's a partial. Semi means what is meant by that? It's a partial. Means the substances that can allow the current partially are called semiconductors. Are called semiconductors. So now once again, please listen the definition for the semiconductor. What is a semiconductor? The substances that can allow the current partially are called semiconductors. Here we are. Our lesson, the semiconductors. So now we start with this semiconductor. What is a semiconductor? What are its properties? All are we can discuss in this lesson. Yes. Next, now semiconductor. So we know already we discussed about this. What is a semiconductor? The substances that can allow the current partially. Allow the current partially. Are called semiconductors. The examples for the semiconductors are germanium and silicon. Examples for the semiconductors are germanium and silicon. These two are tetravalent. What is meant by tetravalent? Tetra means it's a 4. Valent means in its valency states, these semiconductors means these elements are having 4 electrons in the outermost orbits. We should remember what is the valence of these semiconductors. Entama valency? It's a 4. These elements are having 4 electrons in the outermost orbits, so that we can call it as a tetravalent. All semiconductors are said to be tetravalent. So examples for the semiconductors are germanium and silicon. So when the semiconductors act as insulators and when they act as a conductors, now we discuss. At low temperature, the semiconductors can be act as insulators. Insulators means it do not allow the current. At high temperature, semiconductors act as a conductors. Its nature is a lies in between insulator and conductor, so that it is called it as a semiconductor. Got it? What is a semiconductor? Why we call it as a semi? Semi means it's a partial, means once they can be act as insulators and once they can be act as a conductor. When it acts as insulators at low temperature, the semiconductors can be act as insulators. At high temperature, the semiconductors act as a conductors. So its nature is a lies in between insulators and conductors, so that it is called a semiconductor. So already we discussed. The examples are germanium and silicon. Now we have a doubt. The crystal can classify it into 3 types as conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Conductors are purely allowing the current and insulators are not allowing the current and semiconductors are partially allowing the current. Why this nature is like this? ఎందుకు ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఇలా ఉన్నాయి? ఈ నేచర్ ఎందుకు ఎగ్జిబిట్ చేస్తున్నాయి? కండక్టర్స్ తీసుకుంటే దే ఆర్ అలౌయింగ్ ద కరెంట్. ఇన్సులేటర్స్ తీసుకుంటే అసలు కంప్లీట్ గా అలౌ చేయట్లేదు. సెమీకండక్టర్స్ తీసుకుంటే పార్షియల్ గా అలౌ చేస్తున్నాయి. వై? ఎందుకు? మరి కండక్టర్స్ ఎందుకు అలౌ చేస్తున్నాయి? ఇన్సులేటర్స్ ఎందుకు అలౌ చేయట్లేదు? సెమీకండక్టర్స్ ఎందుకు పార్షియల్ గా అలౌ చేస్తున్నాయి అనేది we have to discuss. అది డిస్కస్ చేయాలి. అంతకన్నా ముందు కూడా మనం ఏం చెప్తున్నామంటే అసలు కండక్టర్ అంటే మనం చెప్పిన డెఫినేషన్ ఏంటి? ద సబ్స్టెన్సెస్ దట్ కెన్ అలౌ ద కరెంట్ ఆర్ ద సబ్స్టెన్సెస్ దట్ కెన్ అలౌ ద ఫ్లో ఆఫ్ ఫ్రీ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్. వాట్ ఈస్ meant by flow of free electron? What is a free electron? Where can we get this free electron? Now we discuss. What is a free electron? Where we get this free electron? It's important. So now I want to give the definition for the current. What is a current? Current means the flow of free electrons. The flow of free electrons. The flow of free electrons is called current. The flow of free electrons. Free electrons means what? What is a free electron? Free electrons means the electron which can buy at a free cost? No, not at all. What is a free? Let us take. Suppose if you take a substance which is made up of atoms. These are all atoms. Suppose if you take a big view of this atom, let it be like this. Hello? Samba? ఏమైంది పోయింది ఆగిపోయింది అయిపోయింది ఎవరిని అమ్మ గోడ వస్తుందా కొంచెం అవుతుందా low. So this is a big view of atom. The central massive part is said to be nucleus. So nucleus having a protons and neutrons, so that the entire nucleus possesses a positive charge, and around this nucleus there should be orbits. In orbits the electrons are revolving. These are all electrons. Electrons are revolving around this nucleus in a particular orbits, and electrons possess a negative charge. So there should be a force of attraction between the positively charged nucleus and a negatively charged electron. Suppose if you want to remove an electron from the innermost orbit, suppose if you want to remove an electron from this orbit 1, it is very difficult to remove an electron from the innermost orbits. Why? Because the influence of the nucleus is very high. The electrons which are present in the innermost orbits. Suppose if you want to remove an electron from the outermost orbit, it is very easy to remove. Why? Because the influence of the nucleus is very less on the electron which is present in the outermost orbit. Which is present in the outermost orbit. What is mean by that here? I want to say the outermost electrons, the electrons which are present in the outermost orbits are free from the influence of the nucleus. Means we can remove very easily. That type of electrons are said to be free electrons. Means the influence of the nucleus is a very less, the electrons which are present in the outermost orbits, than that of the electrons which are present in the innermost orbits. So what is the definition for the free electrons? Means the electrons which are present in the outermost orbits are said to be free electrons. Free means here, what is meant by free? Free means which is not influenced by the nucleus, which is free from the influence of the nucleus. So we can call that electrons as free electrons. We need that type of electrons for the current conduction. So this type of electrons are responsible for the current conduction. Those who flow of free electrons are said to be current. So free electrons means the electrons which are not bounded by the nucleus, which is not influenced by the nucleus, almost free from the influence of the nucleus. So that type of electrons are called free electrons. So the flow of free electrons are current. So once again, what is a current? Current means the flow of free electrons. Where can we get the free electrons? The electrons which are present in the outermost orbits are said to be free electrons. Why we can call it as a free electron? Because the influence of the nucleus on the electrons which are present in the outermost orbit is a very less, means very negligible. That type of electrons are said to be free electrons. Those are responsible for the current conduction. Okay, right. So now, why conductors are allowing the current and insulators are not allowing, and semiconductors are partial allowing? Take a look. So for these all questions, there is one answer explained by band theory. It's a band theory of solids. Band theory of solid. Band theory of solid. Now come again. It's a band theory of solid. What is a band theory? Suppose if you take an atom, a single atom, consider a single atom. The energy levels are like that. 1s state, let it be 2s, 1s, 2s, 2p and 3s like this. Suppose an isolated atom. If you take an isolated atom, the energy levels are like this. Suppose the atom in a substance, means let it be a substance, all atoms like this. During the crystal formation, what happens? All atoms are closer together. During the crystal formation, all atoms are closer together. What happens if atoms are closer together? Now, look at here. Suppose if we take a one atom, this is the nucleus of one atom and these are all energy levels. Suppose if we take another atom, these are all energy levels. These are all energy levels. What you are observed, the energy levels, outermost energy levels are overlapping with each other. The innermost orbits are remains the same, but the outermost orbits are the energy levels. Orbit we can call it as orbits. The energy orbits are overlapping with each other. What happens if it is overlapping? Now take a look. What happens means, suppose the innermost one state should be like this and 2s state also. So 3s. In outermost orbits vachinappudu the energy levels can split into further energy levels. The energy levels can split into further energy levels due to the overlapping of energies. So scientists said that these closely spaced energy levels, are called bands. BANDS, bands, energy bands. The closely spaced energy levels are called bands. Once again, in one state there is no overlapping of energies. In 2s state also there is no overlapping of energies. But in the case of higher energy levels, there is an overlapping of energies. What happens? Thus, one energy level split into further energy levels. Means there is energy bands are formed with the closely spaced. These closely spaced energy levels are called energy bands. These are called energy bands. Scientists said that the lowest band is said to be valence band, VALENCE, valence band, and the highest band is said to be conduction band. Here we have two bands. Let it be a lowermost band is said to be a valence band, and the next one is a conduction band. The gap between these two bands is said to be forbidden energy gap. Okay, got it? This is a valence band, this is a conduction band. The gap between the valence band and conduction band is said to be forbidden energy gap. Generally, suppose if you take an atom in isolated state, suppose if you take a single atom, the energy levels are like this. But in the case of formation of crystal, during the formation of crystal, all atoms are closer together. Means the higher energy levels are overlapping with each other, so that higher energy levels can split into further energy levels. So means what happens here? The energy levels are closely spaced energy levels are formed. Those are said to be bands. What are bands? The closely spaced energy levels. The range of energies with closely spaced is called band. So bands, here we have two types of bands. It's a valence band. Lowermost band is said to be valence band, and the uppermost band is said to be conduction band. The gap between the valence band and conduction band is said to be forbidden energy gap. So what happens? According to band theory of solids, suppose we have bands. Let it be a uppermost band is said to be conduction band, and next this is a lowermost bands. This is said to be valence band. The gap between valence band and conduction band is said to be energy gap. First, valence band. What is a valence band? The band filled with the valence electrons. Electrons is represented by like this. The band filled with the valence electrons are said to be valence band. How it is? It is partially filled or fully filled. How? The valence band. The balanced band is filled with the valence electrons. It is a partially filled or completely filled. What is a conduction band? Conduction band is filled with the conduction electrons. Conduction electrons, which is empty or partially filled. Which is empty or partially filled. What is meant by first valence band? Valence band is the range of energies possessed by the valence electrons is said to be valence band. Once again, what is valence band? The range of energies possessed